Hey everyone, so here are the bundles and the closure that I have. I got a 16-inch closure as well as a 16, an 18, and a 20-inch bundles. This hair is from IShowbeauty Hair, which is a AliExpress company or vendor. So here is the products that I'm going to be using to construct this wig. You need a wig cap, you need a stocking cap that's close to your tone, as well as scissors, thread, needles, T-pins, styrofoam head, combs, all the good things. And I did not have elastic bands at the beauty supply store where I went, or they did not. So what I did was I got headbands, elastic headbands, and I will be cutting that, but that's not going to be done until part 2. So here I am putting the closure onto the wig cap, and I am trying to make it as straight as possible. In order for me to know where I wanted to place my lace closure, I kind of measured it with the eye sockets of the styrofoam head by placing the ribbons in the middle of those, like, making sure that they were kind of sort of in the same spot on both sides. So that's how I was able to measure where I wanted my lace closure. So now I'm going to start with my first stitch, and I'm just going to start from one side, and then I'm going to work my way all the way to the other side. The reason I chose to get the mesh dome cap, or the netted, I'm sorry, not netted, not mesh either, but the reason why I got this kind of wig cap is because it has holes in it. So being that it's netted, I'm able to really see where I'm putting my needle and where I'm pulling it through. So I'm able to count the openings to know where I want to know which one I want to go through. So with me, I was only going through the second hole above wherever the hair was, so that way I could make sure that I was not pulling too much of the cap and creating the cap to grow smaller, so when I placed it on my head it wouldn't fit. So that is why I was doing that. I'm also pulling the needle through the closure piece. I'm not going too deep into the closure, but I'm not staying too close to the edge either, because I want to make sure that me stitching this is going to be sturdy as possible. So like I said, I'm just going to keep going around, and you'll see me steady adjusting the pins on the closure, because it was just, I don't know. I don't know if it was because it was a styrofoam head or what, but it just seemed like I just could not just flatten the entire piece out with the T-pins. I had to do some adjusting as I was sewing the closure down. So yeah, just gonna go all the way to the end. Once I get to the end, I will knot that off. I will, comb out the hair and kind of show you guys how the closure looks sewed on completely. I'll comb it out and then go ahead and braid it off, so that way I can get started on my bundles. Okay, so now that it's braided off, I'm going to start with my first bundle. As you can see, there is a bra strap there, that's what it's called on the package. There is a bra strap to help adjust with the tightness of the wig. So what I'm doing is there is a flap right underneath, and I'm going to stitch my first 2 tracks onto that flap underneath it. Then with the second track, as I get to the end of it, I'm going to extend it to the side of the head and connect it to the closure piece. When I bring the track back around, I'm not going to put that track on top of that bra strap. I left a space specifically for that, so that way I could adjust the cap. If you sew onto it, you will not be able to adjust it. So make sure that you are really paying attention to what is on your wig caps, so that way you'll know what to sew on and what not to sew on. Far as my stitching pattern goes, I really don't have a specific stitching pattern. Sorry. Sometimes I can go underhanded, sometimes I can go over, depending upon what side of the head I'm on, and where the track is and what I'm doing to the track is going to determine how I'm gonna stitch. I like to stitch whatever makes me comfortable at that time. So, like I said, I'm going to stitch it all the way around to the side of the head, and I'm going to connect the end of it to the edge of the closure piece. And this is going to be this track, and then doing the other side. This is going to be the only time I am going to connect any of the tracks to my closure piece until I get to the very last track and I close the unit off. And the rest of the tracks that's going to be sewn in, I am going to connect it to the track itself. So my pattern is pretty standard, you guys. All I'm going to be doing is going back and forth in the same direction to close off the wig. I'm not going to be doing nothing else other than this. So I'm not going to show you guys exactly me placing all the tracks onto the wig. I'm going to kind of speed up the video for time purposes. If you guys want to see a video on how I stitch, then I will definitely make a video depending upon the likes that I get, or I just may just do it anyways. But yeah, I will I'm gonna just jump to the top of the head. I'm doing double wefts right now, and then once I get to the top of the head with my third bundle, I will be single tracking it, so that way it is laying flat and that it is still neat as possible and it's not super bulky at the top of the head. So going back and forth, and then I will, here we are. And I was so yeah, here we are at the top of the head, and I am just going back and forth the same way. Still haven't connected any more tracks to the closure. I've been connecting it to the track that is around the perimeter of the head. So I'm just going to go back and forth. I'm going to be measuring with the tracks to make sure that I have enough track to close the piece. I seen that I was running low, and I was praying that I was going to be able to get all the way to the end of the closure. And I did. I also wanted to use all 3 bundles, and at the end I probably had an inch of hair left after everything was sewn in. So I was definitely worried about that, but I was able to make it through. So yes, I'm just pinning everything here. As you've seen, I was measuring, but yeah, I just pin everything, and I'm going to do the same thing and stitch the tracks down. And then once I get to my last braid, or once I get to my last track to close the closure, then I will go ahead and come back to you guys. Okay, so now we are at the last track, and I am going to connect the track to the closure piece. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the needle, pull it underneath the track, pull it through the wig cap, and then also through the lace closure, and then knot it off, and then continue on like that. I make sure that I get the wig closure as well, because I don't want any loose tracks or anything like that. That's gonna create more stability for the wig and for the closure and the tracks to hold up. So now I'm just gonna go ahead, like I said, and just close it up. Then I will go ahead and comb it out and just, play with it a little bit to kind of show you guys how it's looking, the end results after me sewing it down. Now, this is going to be a part two parts to this video. So this is part one. My next video will be part two, and the part two will be me showing you guys me customizing it and putting the wig on. So we'll see the real final results. I'll also be straightening the hair and then kind of seeing if the hair curls as well. So yeah, I'm gonna do all that in the next video. So if you guys want to get notification that that video is up, then please definitely subscribe to the channel to get your notifications, like, comment, and I will see you guys in my next video.